Game developers launched North America's first industry-wide union that anyone can join. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. Game industry unionization efforts that exploded across Sega of America, Bethesda, and others have recently been on pause. A new initiative by the Communications Workers of America could jumpstart things again. At the Game Developers Conference 2025 happening this week, the group announced the founding of the United Video Game Workers, a new sister organization that hopes to enlist developers from all different disciplines and studios in broader labor battles across the industry. The UVW CWA's mission, per a press release reported by IGN, is to not only build a community and solidarity amongst video game workers, but also to build large-scale education campaigns about labor organizing in the video game industry. Unlike individual union shops, which bargain contracts with employees, the direct join model functions more like a voluntary trade group where paid dues and resources are pooled to help with various labor fights across the broader market. The announcement comes as SAG-AFTRA game actors entered their ninth month of striking for AI protections while publishers experiment with digital replicas. Um, yeah, this is. I'm like surprised this is actually happening because it's like this felt like the one step they actually wouldn't do, like do the equivalent of the United Auto Workers or SAG-AFTRA, things like that. Something that just applies to the market broadly, the industry broadly. Whether you work at one studio or another, you could still join this union and have protections, and maybe at a certain point down the line, I don't know, health benefits even between jobs, because the way the industry works, it's similar to the way Hollywood works, right, Jam?
Yeah.
Where it's you're on one project, and then when that project gets done filming, you're done. You were contracted to do that. So what do you do about healthcare? Well, the healthcare comes through the union, at least in some unions in Hollywood. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't have total insight into that, but I know that's how it works for like actors and things like that. Um, so can video game workers get something similar because they are often laid off as a project ends? I would hope so, and maybe this is a step toward that.
Yeah, this would be absolutely amazing because, I mean, there are different trades out there, Grub, like you mentioned, that protect you from job to job or especially protect you from gig to gig. And having this type of protection in an incredibly volatile industry, arguably more volatile than the entertainment industry is right now,
Yeah.
this amount of protection, whether it is in between getting unfortunately laid off and then joining another studio, or perhaps venturing out into a solo project or a smaller indie project, this would provide so much protection. And I think then I would start to feel okay recommending seeking
Yeah.
or going into the games industry as a career with the safety net of a potential a bigger, wider industry union. I would give this as much support as possible.
Yep. As Ethan points out, we heard a lot about unions starting up across different studios, but none of those studios that have unions, or I should say, none of the unions within those studios, have actually been able to successfully negotiate new contracts with their publishers and the parent companies. That stuff is like still either happening or on pause, or nothing's happening. There is like a lot of roadblocks between actually finalizing those conversations to the point where like a collectively bargained contract is finalized. Um, really, you need more pressure, and the pressure's been building, but you need more pressure. And something like this could be the kind of thing where it really puts things over the top and forces these companies to do what needs to be done and actually come to the table and collectively bargain with workers.
Yeah, I'm with anarchist Mike Minotti here. Maybe
Of
let's
course.
topple our overlords here, and at least for game devs or other folks in game development or that side of the fence, I want them to have as many protections and as many things as possible to help them continue doing their jobs, because ultimately at the end they are the ones making the games and not these shareholders. I couldn't
Yeah,
care for these shareholders at all.
yeah. Gee whiz, can I just borrow the means of production there real quick, buddy?
Gee
Yep.
whiz, we'll seize it ourselves.
All right. Yeah. Hey, this cool. GDC is the kind of place where this can really get a lot of traction, really take off. It is. There's always a lot of these vibes there of, hey, we're in this together as game developers. That is the point of GDC. They come there to share knowledge with each other openly, despite working on products that are ostensibly competing with one another, because they know that the medium grows when they all come together and share that passion. Well, let's share in the risk with one another of arguing with the companies that you work for, and maybe you can improve things to the point where, as you said, Jan, everyone begins feeling better about recommending this industry to new people, so we can keep getting new cool stuff and new cool ideas from new cool people. And those new cool people can feed themselves, house themselves, and maybe start families or do whatever they want with their money.
What?
It's their money. They should be able to do it.
Huh?
I know, it's crazy.
Ugh.